Some muscle cars are rare because nobody bought them. Others are rare because only a handful survived. But the 6 cars you're about to see are different. They were never meant for ordinary buyers in the first place. Built to satisfy racing rules, dominate the drag strip, or test engineering limits, most enthusiasts have only seen these machines in old photographs. Even many lifelong collectors have never stood next to one in person. Number 6. 1963 Chevrolet Impala Z11. The 1963 Chevrolet Impala Z11 wasn't created to impress people at local dealerships. It wasn't designed to be comfortable, luxurious, or even practical. Chevrolet built it for one reason: to win drag races. At first glance, it looked like a full-size Impala, but underneath that familiar body was one of the most serious factory race cars Chevrolet had ever produced. The heart of the Z11 was an all-new 427 cubic inch V8 that enthusiasts still refer to as the mystery motor. The nickname came from the engine's unusual cylinder head design. Chevrolet kept many of its engineering details secret while developing it for high-level competition, leaving racers and rival manufacturers wondering exactly what made it so fast. This wasn't simply a larger version of Chevrolet's existing engines. The Z11 received lightweight aluminum components, including the front fenders, hood, bumpers, and other parts that helped reduce weight without sacrificing strength. Every unnecessary pound mattered when your goal was getting down the quarter-mile faster than everyone else. Chevrolet also paid close attention to airflow. The unique high-flow cylinder heads and carefully designed induction system allowed the engine to breathe exceptionally well at high RPM. Combined with its large displacement, the result was an engine that delivered incredible performance for its time. The rest of the car reflected that same racing mindset. Inside, luxury took a back seat. The focus wasn't on chrome trim or premium comfort. It was on giving factory-backed racers every advantage possible when the lights turned green. Production remained extremely limited. Only around 57 examples were built, making the Z11 one of the rarest full-size performance Chevrolets ever produced. Its racing career was also surprisingly short. By the middle of the 1960s, Chevrolet officially stepped away from factory-backed racing, ending further development before the Z11 could fully reach its potential. Today, the Impala Z11 occupies a unique place in muscle car history. It represents the moment Chevrolet pushed a full-size family car to the absolute edge of factory performance. For most collectors, seeing one in person is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. For everyone else, it remains one of Chevrolet's greatest racing secrets. Number 5. 1965 Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu SS Z16. The Chevrolet Chevelle was already becoming one of America's favorite mid-size cars. But hidden among thousands of ordinary Chevelles was a version that almost nobody knew existed. It was called the Z16, and it would quietly become one of the rarest Chevelles Chevrolet ever built. Unlike later Chevelle that relied on big production numbers, the Z16 was never intended to be a mainstream performance model. It served as Chevrolet's way of testing the waters before the muscle car horsepower wars exploded just a few years later. Under the hood sat a 396 cubic inch turbojet V8, officially rated at 375 horsepower. At the time, that made it one of the most powerful engines Chevrolet had ever installed in its new mid-size platform. But the engine was only part of the story. The Z16 received a reinforced frame borrowed from Chevrolet's larger full-size cars, giving it additional strength to handle the big block's torque. Upgraded suspension components, heavy-duty brakes, and a stronger rear axle completed a package that was engineered to do much more than simply accelerate in a straight line. Visually, Chevrolet didn't go overboard. The Z16 kept a relatively clean appearance compared to many later muscle cars. A discreet hood design, special badging, and subtle trim changes hinted that this wasn't an ordinary Malibu, but unless you knew exactly what you were looking at, it could easily blend into traffic. That understated personality is part of what makes the Z16 so fascinating today. Instead of relying on flashy graphics or oversized scoops, Chevrolet let the engineering speak for itself. Production was incredibly limited. Only 201 customer cars were built, along with a small number of pre-production and pilot vehicles. Because so few left the factory, the Z16 quickly became one of the most sought-after Chevelles among collectors. Many enthusiasts spend decades attending major auctions and national car shows without ever encountering an authentic example. The Z16 wasn't just another rare Chevrolet. It was the blueprint for everything the Chevelle SS would eventually become, proving that Chevrolet's mid-size platform had the potential to compete with the biggest names in the muscle car world. Coming up next, we'll look at a Corvette that completely changed the way America thought about road racing. And today, it's one of the rarest factory Corvettes ever built. Number 4, 1963. Chevrolet Corvette Z06. The 1963 Chevrolet Corvette Z06 wasn't created to be the most luxurious Corvette money could buy. It wasn't built to cruise the boulevard or turn heads outside the local diner. From the very beginning, this car had one purpose: to win races. When Chevrolet introduced the second-generation Corvette, better known today as the Stingray, engineer Zora Arkus Duntov wanted to give serious racers something they could drive straight from the dealership to the track. The result was the Z06 Performance Package, a factory-built machine designed specifically for competition. Under the hood was Chevrolet's fuel-injected 327 cubic inch V8, officially rated at 360 horsepower. Fuel injection was still an advanced feature for an American production car in the early 1960s, delivering crisp throttle response and strong high RPM performance that racers appreciated. But horsepower alone wasn't what made the Z06 special. Chevrolet upgraded nearly every area that mattered on a road course. The car received a heavy-duty suspension, stiffer springs, larger shock absorbers, thicker anti-roll bars, and stronger brakes designed to withstand the punishment of repeated high-speed laps. Every improvement focused on making the Corvette faster, more predictable, and more durable under racing conditions. One of the most recognizable options was the enormous 36.5-gallon fuel tank available on many early Z06. It allowed drivers to spend more time racing and less time making pit stops during long-distance endurance events. That oversized tank became one of the package's defining features and immediately separated the Z06 from an ordinary Corvette. Unlike many muscle cars that earned their reputation on the drag strip, the Z06 built its legacy through corners. It proved that an American sports car could compete with respected European rivals on demanding road courses. Despite all of its engineering, very few buyers understood what Chevrolet was offering. The Z06 package was expensive, highly specialized, and aimed at a small group of serious competitors rather than everyday customers. As a result, only 199 examples were produced for the 1963 model year. That limited production has turned the original Z06 into one of the most desirable Corvettes ever built. Today, seeing one outside of a major museum or prestigious collector event is exceptionally uncommon. Most enthusiasts know the name. Very few have actually seen the real thing. Number 3, 1957 Chevrolet Black Widow Bel Air. Not every legendary race car was officially advertised by the company that built it. The 1957 Chevrolet Black Widow is one of the best examples. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary Bel Air sedan. There were no dramatic wings, oversized hood scoops, or bright racing stripes announcing its intentions. But hidden beneath that conservative appearance was a car developed with NASCAR competition firmly in mind. The story became even more interesting because of what happened behind the scenes. In 1957, the Automobile Manufacturers Association encouraged American automakers to step away from factory-backed racing. Chevrolet publicly agreed with the industry-wide ban, officially ending its direct involvement in motorsports. But racing didn't simply disappear. Instead, Chevrolet's high-performance parts found their way into specially prepared Bel Air sedans through the efforts of legendary performance engineer Arcus Duntov and the work of independent racers and dealerships. These specially equipped cars would later earn the nickname Black Widows. Under the hood was Chevrolet's fuel-injected 283 cubic-inch V8, producing up to 283 horsepower. An astonishing achievement at the time because it represented 1 horsepower for every cubic inch of displacement. Combined with a lightweight 2-door sedan body, heavy-duty suspension components, and close-ratio transmissions, the Black Widow became a formidable competitor on NASCAR tracks across America. Its success came quickly. Drivers piloting these cars won races against some of Detroit's toughest competition, proving that Chevrolet's engineering could compete at the highest level even without an official factory racing program. Unlike normal production cars, however, there was never a clearly defined Black Widow model rolling off Chevrolet assembly lines. Instead, these race-prepared Bel Airs existed in very small numbers, built specifically for competition rather than mass production. That makes identifying authentic examples incredibly difficult today and adds another layer of mystery to their history. For collectors, the Black Widow represents more than just a fast Chevrolet. It symbolizes an era when factory performance continued quietly behind the scenes, even as manufacturers publicly claimed they had left racing behind. And that combination of secrecy, racing heritage, and extreme rarity has made the Black Widow one of the most fascinating Chevrolets ever associated with NASCAR. But if you think those cars were difficult to find, the final 2 entries were even more extreme. Both were built with one goal in mind: absolute drag strip domination, and together, fewer than 100 left the factory. Number 2. 1965, Dodge Coronet, a 990 race Hemi. By the mid-1960s, the horsepower war was escalating at an incredible pace. Every major manufacturer wanted to dominate the drag strip, and Dodge had no intention of falling behind. Instead of building another high-performance street car, Dodge created something far more focused. It was called the Coronet, a 990 race Hemi, and from the moment it left the factory, everyone knew this machine had one purpose: winning quarter-mile races. At its heart was Chrysler's legendary 426 race Hemi F8, an engine developed specifically for competition. With its hemispherical combustion chambers and exceptional airflow, the race Hemi quickly earned a reputation as one of the most formidable drag racing engines of the era. But Dodge didn't stop with the engine. Engineers attacked weight anywhere they could. The Coronet, a 990, featured lightweight fiberglass components for the hood and front fenders, while thin side glass and minimal interior equipment helped remove even more unnecessary pounds. Sound insulation, comfort features, and luxury items were sacrificed without hesitation because none of them helped the car reach the finish line any faster. The chassis received heavy-duty suspension upgrades designed to handle repeated hard launches, while the drivetrain was built to survive the enormous torque produced by the race Hemi. Everything about the A990 reflected a single philosophy: performance came first, comfort came last. Unlike traditional muscle cars that balanced street manners with performance, the Coronet A990 barely tried to hide its racing intentions. It was legal to own, but it felt much more like a factory-built race car than everyday transportation. Production remained extremely limited. only 101 examples were built, just enough to satisfy drag racing homologation requirements and place these cars into the hands of competitive racers across the country. Many of them spent their lives doing exactly what they were built to do. They raced hard. Some were modified repeatedly as technology improved. Others suffered damage after years of competition. As a result, surviving original examples have become extraordinarily difficult to find. Today, the Dodge Coronet A990 isn't simply admired because it's rare. Collectors respect it because it represents one of the purest factory drag cars Chrysler ever produced, a machine built with almost no compromises in the pursuit of speed. Number 1. 1965 Plymouth Belvedere, a 990 race Hemi. If the Dodge Coronet, a 990, was intimidating, its Plymouth sibling took the same formula and cemented its place among the greatest factory drag cars in American history. The 1965 Plymouth Belvedere, a 990 race Hemi, wasn't designed to impress buyers in a showroom. It was designed to leave the competition staring at its taillights. Like the Coronet, the Belvedere was powered by Chrysler's fearsome 426 race Hemi 5.8, an engine that quickly became the benchmark for factory drag racing performance during the 1960s. Everything surrounding that engine served one objective: make the car lighter. Fiberglass body panels replaced heavier steel components wherever possible. Lightweight seats, simplified interior trim, and thinner glass helped shave off additional weight. Every decision reflected the same racing philosophy that defined Chrysler's A990 program. Even the stance of the car hinted at its true purpose. With its no-nonsense appearance and aggressive posture, the Belvedere looked ready to launch before the engine was even started. Factory engineers paired the race Hemi with proven heavy-duty driveline components capable of handling repeated full-throttle launches, giving racers a package that was competitive almost immediately after delivery. Just like its Dodge counterpart, production was intentionally limited. Only 101 Belvedere A990s were built. Many were delivered directly to accomplished drag racers, where they spent years competing at tracks across North America. That racing history is exactly why original survivors are so scarce today. Unlike collector cars that were carefully preserved from new, these machines were treated like tools. They were pushed to their limits, modified, repaired, and raced again. Finding one that still retains its original factory configuration has become incredibly difficult, even for seasoned collectors. Today, the Plymouth Belvedere A990 stands as one of the ultimate symbols of Chrysler's drag racing dominance during the golden age of muscle cars. It wasn't built to be refined. It wasn't built to be comfortable. It was engineered to win.